Hello, welcome back. I have some Abzan Company Stoneforge here. I won the die roll, and this hand's good. I'll keep it. This hand does ask the age-old question, giver or bird? And I believe the answer for this case is giver. The reason being is I already have that turn 2 druid, so I want to be able to play her. Can play her, can protect her. Now if I play the bird instead, then I could do something like play druid and give her next turn. I'm playing Dredge again. Okay. This is a fine matchup, especially game 1. When they're on the play, it's a little bit trickier. If they're in the game, like if I win game 1, game 2 is a little bit trickier, is what I'm trying to say. Alright. Well, just get a regular land, play druid, and pass turn. Preferably without F6ing. Don't want to die to a sneaky lava axe. So I just need a Vizier and I win next turn. Yikes. Alright. Down to 13 already. So if I don't draw a Vizier, my next turn's plan, okay, is to cast probably Stoneforge and Bird. Just get extra mana there. Yeah, that's fine. Get an extra flyer. That's the worst part. Yep, got a 12 here. Opponent not attacking. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, I can play a Ballista for 1, 2, 3, 4 and play the birds. I can play a 2/2 Ballista. I just don't think it's worth it. I think my line here is Stoneforge Mystic, get Batterskull. Play a bird. I'm going to be fetching here anyways, but I'm probably going to be grabbing like a Temple Garden here. I think I want a Temple Garden, so I don't want to shock. So I see no reason to play the Longbow or a 1/1 Ballista right here. The opponent has no Dredgers in their graveyard. So I feel pretty safe here. I feel like I can take this 8 punch right here. Can always block with my bird if I need to. Is Dredge running any removal main board? They didn't used to. Get the 2 Conflagrate. Yep, and they get the Dark Blast, Lightning Axe, Abrupt Decays, all that's sideboard. So really I just have to worry about the 2 Conflagrate, just like the classic Dredge lists. The reason I'm looking that up is so if I want, I can give her, if I'm not worried about Conflagrate, I can give birds pro black and like block here type thing. Okay, discard a couple dredgers. Yikes. Well, that really stinks. So I might just be dead. Bet you my opponent really wishes they attacked last turn. And I also wish I just played that 1/1 Ballista here. Okay, so I take 2. I have to block with everything? Except for, I can block with Druid if I choose to. I can untap her. But I straight up just win if I draw a Vizier. So I really don't want to do that. I think I want to keep this Stoneforge Mystic alive to be able to play the Batterskull. Batterskull will not matter as long as my opponent has these Narcomoebas. So let's say these 2 survive. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. I can make a 2/2 Ballista, but I also can't equip the Batterskull. So, alright, well I'm blocking here. Blocking here. Blocking here. I can't do the, let me see, I'm going to take 2, go to 2, go to 1. So let's, now I have to choose if I want the bird or the Mystic to live. I think I want the Mystic to live here. Yeah. Yeah, I can't win without getting it, so I'm just going to fetch right now. Vizier off the top, CoCo off the top, something. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into Vizier. Here we go. All right. That stunk. Let's bring in Skoos, Plague Engineer, take out a Stoneforge, Sword of Fire. I'm still intrigued with Burrington. It does stop Conflagrate, it stops Lightning Axe. It's like an extra giver. Obviously not as good as Giver. They're just good like this. Man, if I just hit a Vizier there, like what? If I just hit a Vizier, that was game. If I had a Vizier with the Ballista, with the weapon. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. I think I played that correctly. I may have missed something early, some sequence earlier on. I really just needed a finale. Finale was guaranteed victory. I felt like CoCo was a pretty good chance of winning right there. Just unfortunately, it just wasn't enough of a chance to win. Looking over my list right here, I'm going to talk about it for a second. I'm running only one Noble and preferring Birds of Paradise over the Noble. That's for two reasons. One of those reasons is I want to be able to help cast my black spells post board, and Birds helps with that, Noble does not. But the more important reason is this is a sword deck, and Birds of Paradise are better with swords than Noble Hierarchs. I want to be able to make sure I get those damage triggers in, and Birds helps me do that, where Noble Hierarch doesn't. So unfortunately, I lost a game that I'm actually favored in, and now my opponent gets to go and bring in a ton of hate cards, Lightning Axes, Dark Blasts, Abrupt Decays. So, sounds good. Sounds much better because I'm on the play. It's going to go turn 2 Druid. If my opponent kills it, then I follow that up with a Scavenging Ooze, and hopefully I've drawn a couple more lands by then. At least one more. I could lead off with the Scavenging Ooze. We'll see what my opponent does. Hopefully they kill that. Like, if they kill that, the first removal spell, then I can drop my Druid and try to win turn 4. I think the best line is Druid on 2. I have a chance of winning. Like, if I hit a Vizier off of that CoCo, if my Druid lives and I hit a Vizier off CoCo, I can Ewit, re-CoCo, play Scoos, so I have 2 chances there of finding like a Ranger Captain. Yeah, talked myself into it. So if I play Scoos here, I'm basically saying Scoos is going to die, right? Whatever I drop first is going to die. And if I play Scoos here, my ceiling is I can slow my opponent down. But when I untap, I'm still only going to have 1 green spell. This way, if Druid lives, not only do I have a chance of just winning next turn with the Collected Company into Vizier, but I also have a chance of giving myself a little bit more time when I drop this Scoos and hopefully having a little bit more green mana. It's one reason why I kind of like Mana Dorks over Givers, just to get that little bit extra mana push, which I think is important in a Collected Company deck. I don't think the high Giver decks CoCo as reliably as the high Mana Dork decks. That said, Giver is got a much higher ceiling than, say, Birds of Paradise. So it's really debatable what style deck you want. I think if you're playing Kitchen Finks, you definitely want some Mana Dorks because you have more 3-drops that you want to power out turn 2. But if you're just playing Stoneforge Mystic and Devoted Druid, those are both 2-drops. And you only need really 2 mana to fully kind of run through your deck in that chain. So what you're doing there is you can do a 1-drop that doesn't ramp you into a 2-drop. In that case, Giver is a lot better. But if you're doing stuff like the old Kitchen Finks style CoCo decks, you definitely want more Mana Dorks than Givers, because you want to be able to power out your 3-drops on 2. So down a game against Dredge. Can flag rate for 0. Okay. And we probably win. Oops. Use the Temple Garden where the white's the second option, right? Lightning Axe? No? Okay. Oh, they have the -1/-1. So what my opponent's going to do right now is... No? Okay, I thought they were going to be a pain in my butt. Go Ewit, Druid. Any order, Ewit will pick up the only thing in my graveyard, and I will do this train again. Ewit, Stoneforge, and I win. Alright, I could just win with this. This seems like a real pain in the butt. Oh, I actually don't need mana. Never mind. Alright, nice. For some reason I thought I had to re-equip it each time. Alright. Let's go to game 3. Do I want anything different? Still like Knight of Autumn, Burnt and Forge Tender, Mirran Crusader. These are all cards that interest me. At the end of the day, I just don't think they interest me enough. I think I'd just rather just have a Plague Engineer, which can stop Bloodcasts. So if I didn't have a Stoneforge Mystic in that CoCo pile, a cool thing I could have done is grab 2 Ewits, and then in response to one of the Ewits, like I could have tried to CoCo. I think that would work. I'd have to double check the rules to make sure that I can do it that way. No, it wouldn't work, because what would happen is I'd have to choose both targets because they both go in the stack. I choose both the same CoCo, and then if I take that CoCo and put it back, it's no longer the same one, so that would not work. I think I'm going to keep this. It's debatable. This is a turn 1 Bird, turn 2 Stoneforge, turn 3 Batterskull, turn 4 Shalai hand. It's weak to Dark Blast. Very weak to Dark Blast, actually, thanks to the Dryad Arbor. I think I'm gonna try it. Other option is I mulligan hard for a Druid hand, which is what I usually do against Dredge. I'm going to keep this. It's debatable. Dryad Arbor once again proving to me why I don't like the card. Opponent mulls to 6. This doesn't matter as much when you're Dredge, when you're really just looking for 1 or 2 lands and some looting effects. Alright, it's better. Okay, opponent gets 2 Dredgers off that. Thug and Life from the Loam. Okay. What I like seeing when they do that is Lightning Axes and Abrupt Decays, because that means they're not in their hand, and that means they're less likely to draw them, but we can't always get what we want off of our opponent's... there we go, there's a Lightning Axe. Also a Bloodghast and Amalgam, which means they're going to start putting pressure on me. Unless our opponent kept a 1-land hand. Okay. What I always found interesting is that opponents that use more clock are the ones that generally make you play through combos. Like, our opponents use 3 more minutes of clock than us, and... alright, there's Dark Blast. and they made us play out the combo. It's never the opponents that are super clock efficient, because those ones just want to get through and move on with their life. I'm going to take a basic forest here. I know I do need double white at some point. Fortunately, both of my equipment's in my hand. So, that really stinks. That batter skill was an absolutely janky draw. What I'm hoping to draw is like a collected company. What I'm hoping to draw is a finale, or a druid, or something useful, not a card that I was going to be drawing anyway. My line next turn is either, if I draw a land, I can try to Ewit back more lands, so I can eventually cast Shalai. I'm thinking otherwise it's just going to be Dryad Arbor into Batterskull. Okay, there's an Ancient Grudge. Didn't see that last game. So Batterskull is much worse. Yep. So I can flash in Batterskull, but that just uses their Ancient Grudge. It doesn't do anything. I don't love that. I think I'd rather just play this Longbow and make them grudge that. What I don't want to happen is them to Dark Blast my Dryad Arbor and then set me back a turn. What I need to do is draw lands for my collected company. And unfortunately, this deck's running Dryad Arbor, which I do not like. Okay, they took Life from the Loam instead. Probably to boost up these Conflagrates. If I'd known I'd be playing Dredge this much, I'd have run a Remorseful Cleric on my side. Six, 7, 10, 12. They put me at 2, which means I'm dead. So I think I have to do that. I think I'm just about to lose this match here. Yep, dead to Conflagrate. I was dead if I blocked with Dryad Arbor anyway, so. Alright. Opponent sees it, I'm dead. There we go. All right, let's play the next one.